Get the power of Gower. GowerLaw.com. Kiss 107.1 is WTLC Saginaw with Steve Harvey in the morning.
Mornings can't get no better. It's the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
And simply the best R&B all day.
Y'all be jamming?
Listen live on your smartphone, in your car, at work, or live at KissWTLZ.com. We're Kiss 107.1.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen. I am your host for the hour. I certainly thank you for tuning into our conversation on today. If you're watching via your social media dial, you are recognizing that there's another young man that's in the social media stream, always dapper, always cool, calm, and collected. That is none other than our state representative, Amos O'Neill. Amos, I don't want to waste any time. I want to get right to our conversation. It's interesting because this is, am I correct, your first time being with us here at Straight Talk? Have you been here with me before? I don't believe so.
I think so. A couple years ago, I think we had a couple people here.
Okay.
It was 4 or 5 of us.
Okay, but never you and I sitting here having this conversation.
Never you and I together.
All right. So I said it was time for us to get together. We do a lot of conversations, and I see you everywhere making great things happen, working for the people. I'm going to need you to sit in just a little bit closer, about 12. There you go. So that everyone can hear you that's coming in out there. I'm so glad to have you with us. I remember when you were first running for office, and I need to tell this story before I get in so you can understand why I'm a bit common with our representative. I always call him, I never call him Amos. I call him Mr. or State Rep or Mr. O'Neill, because I believe that you put in your time, and I believe in respecting the man in the office. When we first met, it's been probably back in, decades ago.
Yes.
And I was working with Jay Rich, and you were working, I think, in the community in a number of capacities. And I remember one particular time we were talking about, I think you were working with the United Way
at the time.
And you were saying, hey, man, we could really do something great if we can get Jason to do a golf outing and make something happen there. And, if he wants to give a donation, it's great. And Jason turned around, he gave $100,000. And then he started the Jason Richardson golf outing, which went on to about $500,000 for the United Way over the years, doing other things. And that was our first introduction. And I want people to understand that before you got in your political office, working in legislation, that you were out there making great things happen for our community. And it was that inspiration. And then also seeing you with Parishioners on Patrol, you were the Pops guy. And seeing the work that you were doing there, which inspired me to get involved, working with Pastor Campbell, Bishop Campbell now. But you have been doing this work for so long. When I heard that you were going to run for an elected office, I think I was on the radio. I was like, hey, I'm voting for Amos O'Neill. I ain't got to hear nothing. I don't care what's going on, because you had solidified yourself as an individual who was not just a community organizer, but a person who was stable, who was consistent. We've seen you. You're not somebody who came, from nowhere, the boogeyman that we don't know anything about, but you were one of us here in the community. So I want to say welcome to Straight Talk.
Thank you.
And I just want to get to talk to you about how has it been so far. Let's talk about the first round is over. Now you're in a new session, new people, a whole new agenda. Let's talk.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for your continual support. You were a supporter of mine 30 years ago, and it goes way back from my first word days and United Way days, holding to Saginaw Public Schools, working with Don Scott in the GAP program. And,
right. I forgot about
Pastor Craig Tatum with the Project Success program. Working with families, and we all have our road, if you will. That it's sometimes it takes us longer than others to get to this is what I'm really called for. We all have callings, but I really I felt early in my career that service was my calling, was one of my callings, and I just stuck with it. And families from running federal corrections, helping people transition back into society, and working with kids and families and at risk. At the time they called it Title I kids.
We don't call them at risk anymore.
Right.
Highest risk.
Yes.
Yes.
We're still doing this today. You're doing it, and some of the other brothers are working in that space. And to the families, we've lost some young people recently, and our heart just goes out, because that's counterproductive for us as we move forward. In the stage we're in now, in the budget cycle, traditionally we've put out a budget July 1st. Democrat, Republican led House. That's been the standard.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that didn't occur this current budget season. And so what happens now is we're sort of behind the 8 ball, if you will, to try to negotiate. When you talk about negotiation, it takes time. Like it takes months. And so if we were to had that budget out July 1st, that would have given us from July 1st to end of September, to work out all the kinks and come up to some compromise. We have to be adults. In every budget, you're never going to get everything you want.
I think one of the things that's important is oftentimes these situations occur because we don't want a real negotiation for the things that are happening in terms of our budget. There's some things that we don't want to give you time to even read that are in there, correct?
Exactly.
So let's hold this off till the deadline gets close.
Yes.
And see what we can stuff in there.
Yes.
To get passed. So you guys go ahead.
That's kind of where we are.
Okay.
When we did get the budget a couple weeks ago, it was given to us in probably an hour before we were going to vote on it.
Wow.
Really? So how do you take $85 billion budget and say, here you go, check it out, and then it doesn't make sense.
And you have to account to the American people for this vote.
We have to account to our constituents in the state of all the constituents in Michigan.
That's right, Michigan.
So many people depend on us doing basically what our jobs are, to get a budget out, July 1st, and then we go to the negotiations, seal and deal before the fiscal year starts in October.
Wow. So when we look at what's going on, and people are always wanting answers, and what's interesting to me is, and this is just something that I've noticed this year more than other years, there is usually more of an outcry when budgets are passed. People are complaining. There's, what's going on? Call your state representative, call, your state senators. We got to make something happen.
Yes.
I don't hear that outcry, and maybe it's just me, but what is your sense?
It's dead silence. I was on Art Lewis' show last week.
Okay.
He had some same questions, and he said, well, what's this with you guys not funding the Michigan State Police? I said, well, it's not us. And I said, I was being, facetious when I made my comments about if it were me or a Democrat or, a person like myself saying we're going to defund the police. Remember during COVID, that
Absolutely
came up.
Yes.
And I said, I stuck with law enforcement.
Absolutely.
And I caught flack from my own community about that. And I said, so if that were us doing that today, there'll be pitchforks and everything after us. And he laughed about it, but it's true.
It was one of the reasons why there was a plan to all of those negative narratives to kidnap our governor. And so when we talk about these types of things, and this is supposedly an administration of law and order, not only law and order, but we got a note through the line, because I'm on the state governor's council for community violence intervention, about doing away with that entire division,
the whole budget.
And so when we talk about the things that are on the table that are impacting our community, we've seen what has happened on our national level. How are you feeling about where we are in terms of our state? What's happening? What's at risk? What's at stake? The impact.
Well, you made a comment, the national level. Everything happening at the national level. So audience, please listen.
Y'all listen up real good.
Everything that's happening at the national level is being mirrored here in the state. Word for word, budget for budget, everything that happens under that administration, they're bringing it down through our House, control Republican House and doing the same thing.
Okay, so some of you that are out there, maybe you aren't paying attention to what's taking place. This conversation is so very important because I want to say this. There was an effort or some conversation about boycotting Florida. And the reason for that was because of some of the decisions, some of the language. There was a real assault on making sure that history was whitewashed, is the term that I'll use, removing books from shelves, all of these things out of a conjured up boogeyman. We now see in Florida, as you're saying, Representative O'Neill, the state, the highest level of the health officials there, the governor and different individuals saying that they will not, or they're putting in these recommendations to do away with vaccines completely, 100%.
Yeah, right.
The issues that they're having with books removals, the issues that they're having with redistricting and gerrymandering and all of this stuff that's going on, everything that is happening in DC, we see taking place in Florida. Florida is the Republicans' haven, if you will. It's where number 47, that's where he lives. That's where he's from, and most notable out with his golf courses. And so what you're saying is what's happening in Florida is a litmus test to see if we can do this in other areas where we have some control.
Exactly. You said it just right. When you think about all of the things that are on the table that are under attack, basically they're going against everything that the civil rights struggle afforded us from 1964. And you just go down the list, all the things as you talked about: education, healthcare, access to healthcare, vaccines, prioritizing your benefits in terms of access to Medicaid. You think about violence intervention. So you're going to bring in the National Guard into communities around the country. Why is that? And those main communities are Black ran,
absolutely,
by competent Black mayors. And the data shows that all of the data points to, crime going down. So what's the purpose of that? It's the purpose. My analogy is, once martial law is called, then there are no elections can be had anywhere.
Well, I think that they just canceled Florida's elections.
They did. That's the proving test.
So that means when you cancel the elections, that means that the current administration
stays in place.
Now, some people say, oh, it's going to be a year. Well, I need y'all to understand what has happened in 8 months.
Yes.
If we have seen the changes in 8 months, what does a year mean? A year can mean the difference between existing as an American citizen and then having a citizen revoked and challenged. One thing Black America has to understand, because we think, oh, it'll never happen to Black America, but our existence here has to be reinstated every so often because we were not written into the Constitution. I'm saying this, not Representative O'Neill. Whenever you have a document that was drafted by folks who did not see you as fully human, who did not recognize you as a full man or a full woman, creating a government or a document that governs you, you better believe that your existence in that document does not exist. We saw that with our United States Constitution. Hence, we often talk about institutionalized racism, a word which they want to say does not exist. But if the framework in which everything existed in a time when we were being not seen as human, then we have to understand that what was in their mindset is also in the policy. The details and the devil is always in the policy. So, Representative O'Neill, when we look at Blacks existing, there are amendments. Amendments are changes that existed to a document that you now say, we're going to agree to these amendments and vote them in as law. And every so often, you got to relook at these amendments, and certain things have to be done to make sure that they stay the same. So if you are an amendment in, you can easily be an amendment out. Right. We see that with what they're doing contextually with the 14th Amendment.
Exactly.
What is an American citizen? What does it mean when we talk about birthright citizenship? So what he's talking about today is a very important matter, and all of Black America, Brown America, needs to be leaning in for this. When you look, go ahead.
Let me just add this. When you talk about language and amendments, for example, in the current school aid budget that we're now talking about, there's various language throughout that school aid budget that prohibits and restrict, for example, a teacher from teaching basic Black history. And if you do that, then there's a penalty. You're going to be penalized, and you can be charged with a misdemeanor Imagine that.
For teaching Black history,
Yes.
which is a part of American history,
Yes.
there's legislation going that you can be charged for a crime.
Exactly. And then threaten for your school district funds to lose it. Now, what type of nation or country would impede the progress of education, which is supposedly the equalizer on the playing field? But in terms of us competing and being competitive globally, you think about when you saw all the cars sitting in parking lots all up down I-75 because we didn't have the capacity to make the chips and wafers.
Yeah.
Now we're working through that with Hemlock Semiconductor, Solar, Dow Solar, etc. And you're part of that.
Which your representative has been at the helm. He's been meeting on a regular basis, making sure not only that they're doing what they're, because you guys are signing checks to make sure that this works get done.
Exactly.
And you have been out there advocating, making sure that we have representation in the communities that you represent. And I think it's super important. Thanks again for that.
And then here's another point. We had a meeting at Next Year a couple of days ago. A couple of legislators, myself, and Next Year team, Next Year Automotive, right here on Olive Drive. And so that's a worldwide headquarters. It was owned by Americans at one time. Now it's owned by China.
Absolutely.
Right. And so we were talking about education, and the leadership was saying, well, we're not getting the skill level that we need for all the technology and automations. We walked through that entire plant. That used to be a $5,000 to $10,000 person plant. There's like 3,000 folks here and there, but everything's automated, literally automated. And so they're saying we don't have the skills from individual students to matriculate through this whole process.
So where do they want to bring them from?
Well, we need to see. I said, well, my suggestion at that meeting was, well, let's meet with the superintendents. I said, we meet with them every month. We need to, and that's where the communication comes in, because we're competing globally.
Absolutely.
We lost a major part of the operation to Bosch, last year. And so we'll see the benefits of the cutbacks on that in 26, 27. And so we have to make sure the educators know what the product outcome of education we need for those industries. Now, we're doing a lot of things in STEM, et cetera. You're part of that. A lot of people are part of that, but there's some high skill technology skills that aren't happening in STEM. So our educating apparatus has to know what we need to be competitive locally, but then nationally and globally by the skill sets that we're trying to bring in.
I want to say something, because what you're saying is so very important. Shout out to all of my STEM heads out there, Dante Davis, Saginaw STEM, anyone else who's doing STEM. I had a conversation with a young man, Tobias Young.
Yeah.
And we were talking, we spoke about you as well. Now he is what you would call an electrician.
Yes.
And as we were talking, both of us are tech heads. He is way more of a tech head than I am. I'll bow down. But he was saying how we really need to show, because most people, especially our young Black and brown folks, they come in and they're like, I don't want to be an electrician. I don't want to climb under buildings. But as you said, where we are in terms of technology, electricians are running plants. They're working with automation and AI. They're monitoring and adjusting robots. It is much different than your mom and pop's electrician. And when I was looking at the statistics, we are in a dire need of two industries, all of the trades industries, but electricians and pipe fitters and plumbers.
Exactly.
And so if we don't begin, and it can't wait until we're out of school.
No.
There used to be something that we had, and it was leveling the playing field, when we had shop and woodwork, all of those, because it gave young Black people who weren't building stuff at home. Our grandfathers would just build it and do it and get out the way and just do it because there was a necessity. Other young folks, parents own companies, and they would take them to their jobs and see this thing. But when we exposed them to those areas, it allowed us an opportunity to say, hey, this is something I can do. What do you think in addition to this? I don't think that it can start at a post high school. I think it has to start in high school. What is the narrative that you're hearing on a state level in terms of that specific issue?
Well, it's not only state level, it's national, because, fortunately we have the early program over at John Moore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you were part of that or not, but, they're looking at early childhood education for, birth to 3, birth to 5, in terms of exposing these kids to STEM and high technology. That's where you start.
Absolutely.
I mean, a baby can learn anything. You can learn languages at, between 1 to 3, 1 to 5, and you can learn skills. And so I think we have to do a better job as a people. We have to really, and that's why it's important, and we need people in different places.
Yeah.
And right now, education is one of the most attacked levels in the country, not only Michigan.
Why do you think that is, Rep?
Well, it controls destiny.
Say that again. That was powerful.
It controls destiny.
Education controls destiny.
And so, there are a lot of private prisons being built right now as we speak, all over the country. Why is that?
There's a correlation.
And then you look at the mechanism that's being sort of ushered down from the federal level. Started with our Hispanic brothers and sisters. Now it's moving to our urban communities.
Y'all know what urban mean, right?
Okay.
This is straight talk.
Okay.
Right,
Black communities.
Right.
And so a lot of folks are being harassed, for no reason. And then now you have the credence from some our law enforcement mechanisms to just harass you. If you make the wrong decision, then you're going to get pulverized, killed, or either or both, pulverized and then killed, or you're going to jail.
I want to say
It's
this,
real.
Rep. O'Neal, because this is a real conversation, and you have to be astute in what's going on. If you don't understand what's happened in the past, you'll think, oh, wow, people are reacting, much ado about nothing. But what we're seeing is a literal target to all of the systems that have created an opportunity where African Americans, and I'm going to talk about Black folks, where Black Americans have the ability to, and I'm going to use this term, even though I don't think it's the way it should be, pull themselves up by their bootstraps.
Well, Dr. King said, we don't have the boots to pull ourselves up. If you look at his autobiography.
Absolutely.
Okay. But look at women, Black women, over 3,000 Black women were just eradicated.
300,000.
Okay, 300. Thank you for that
Yeah.
correction. 300,000 Black women have been eradicated from the workforce. Okay, think about that.
You gonna host my show or not? Because that was a part of this conversation. But go ahead. No, go ahead.
But that's astonishing. And so what does that do for the family? Okay. And so you talk about cutting SNAP, cutting the benefits, that basic subsistence. And here's just a fact. And this is just a fact. Some people vote against their own self-interest. Okay. When you go north of us, and I go all over the state. When you
everywhere, he out there wrangling fish, riding cow horses, and acting like the Black Cowboys of America. You do it all. Go ahead.
I am a Black cowboy.
He said he is a Black cowboy.
Now listen, when you go up north, and this is
it's the facts.
It's the facts. And the facts are the majority of folks on SNAP and benefits are white.
Facts are facts.
That's facts. But everybody, when they see the picture of SNAP, they have a Black face there. There are more working Black men and women than there are, right?
This is a real conversation. Yes, sir.
That's true. And that's data. And so the media plays a role in that too. They give this image of us as we don't want to work. We don't want to, go to school. We don't want to, go the extra mile. All those narratives are false. And if you look at both sides of this equation, the unemployment rates for Black has always been higher than most because, we always are on the back end of the burner, if you will, and then you think about those who are being incarcerated. They get out, they come out. And the men I saw last night, I was at a program last night.
Come out, stay out.
In Detroit, Southfield. Man, those men had been in prison 30, 15, 20. But all of these men, they're married and they are very successful. They have entrepreneurship. They have jobs. They have companies.
Yes.
And they're doing well.
Yes.
So this is what I want to say to the audience and to our families, your moms with your boys, and in general as Black families. We need to stay out the way. Stay out the way. What does that mean, Rep? That means stay home when you don't have to be out there in the streets. All these parties we have, we don't have to have these parties, because what happens? That's sort of a melting pot for just the enemy to come in and do havoc. And every time we have a party, somebody get hurt, somebody get killed.
It goes into the narrative that they're trying to say that we are a violent people.
We don't have to do that though. We need to find something else to do in terms of our activities. See, it's in our DNA to be successful. If you look at history,
you better preach, man.
No, you look at history. You look at, we all know Wall Street, the Black Wall Street, but there are probably 50 to 60
countless Jonestown, where
Ohio,
Kentucky University.
There's a map. It shows all the Black communities that were successful independently. Yes. We even had our own independent Black community. 6th Street had all Black businesses.
Absolutely.
Potter Street had a majority of Black businesses. We had mom and pop shops, family owned, throughout our neighborhoods. Well, I-75, 675 came through that disrupted that. Systemically, that's part of the narrative, the plan. So we got to be wise as folks. We spend more money than anybody. We make everybody rich. What does that mean? When everyone wants money, they come into the, and this is no, slight of anybody.
This is not racial. This is facts.
So when the Chaldeans, the Asians, the Chinese, whoever, they come into the Black community, they set up shops and they make millions all over the country from Black communities. We have the highest buying power than any other race of people.
Say that again, sir.
We have the highest buying power than any other race of people. Now, if that says that, then why can't we create our own businesses? Why can't we create our own schools? We can. We've done it.
Absolutely.
We have the blueprints, but it's going to take us. And this is really, I really don't get upset about too much.
Get mad. Get righteously indignant.
I'm like, wow. When are we going to wake up? Now, if you don't wake up after this, because right now the federal administration, and it's running down to the state administration, that's why it's important that you vote. And it matters who's in office. Now, my colleagues on the other side, they don't give a rat's tail about what you want and your family and your kids. They want to take food from your kids, right? Want to take food and benefits from parents, right? They want to restrict your education. They want to restrict the teachers what they can teach, the history. We built this country. So how come you can't talk about the historical aspects of the contributions?
Well, Representative O'Neill, we don't want to make little white kids feel bad about what their forefathers have done since they weren't a part of it.
No, I don't think it's that. I think when kids learn history, it helps them be better.
Absolutely.
You look at kids when they're 2 and 3 and 4, they're just innocent as pie. We learn behaviors from adults, right?
Absolutely.
And so I'll give you another case in point. Right now, there's a heightened sense of, I wouldn't say anger, but people are wired up. I was driving the other day, getting off, coming onto the expressway, coming up 675. You're supposed to merge when you,
right.
Okay. So this gentleman, I don't know who he was, he would merge. And I'm trying to get over. I'm saying, okay. So when I got over, I flashed my lights. This guy slowed down. He was mad as hell. And he was like, he wanted to stop in the highway. I'm saying to myself, I did like this. Hey, man. And I kept going, but this guy was mad.
Yeah.
He was angry. So what I'm saying, there are a lot of angry people out there and just waiting for a chance to do something to you.
We're going to take our first commercial break. When we come back, I want to make sure that everyone understands what's going on. I want to explain some things that you talked about. I want to share some information regarding why those federal jobs were targeted and who it displaced in terms of the workforce. Because in this administration, unemployment is going up for everybody. But there is one particular sector of folks, Black women, who are experiencing the impact of this at an alarming rate. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll be back with more of State Representative Amos O'Neill.
You're listening to Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen on KISS 107.1.
Mid-Michigan. It's the season of sweaters, spice, and cars that are nice. Ryan Wasik here from Bell Wasik GMC Buick, your only local Buick dealer and home with a lifetime warranty. And this month, I've brewed up the perfect blend of savings and selection. And you can save up to $3,000 based on the price of the nicer, newer car you pick. So if your old ride's got you stewing and brewing, let's spice things up with a deal that's too hot to handle. Because you deserve to cruise around town in a car that you love and you saved a latte on. You could save up to $3,000. Here at Bell Wasik GMC Buick, we're all about acceptance and affordability. My solution specialists serve up hot approvals and spicy deals. They'll help you drive a nicer, newer car you love with a monthly payment that won't shake your leaves this fall. So spice up your commute and save a latte in the process, up to $3,000 based on the nicer, newer car you pick. But hurry, this deal's only brewing until the end of the month. I'm Ryan Wasik and I'm your dealer for the people. See all the fresh brewed rides at RyanApproved.com. That's RyanApproved.com.
Credit requires bank approval. Negative equity may be refinanced. Vehicle purchase price determines actual discount. Offer absolutely ends September 30th, 2025. RocketGrabPlus.com.
Looking for the perfect deal? Rocket Grab Plus has you covered. Right now, you can score amazing deals like half off a $25 voucher to Old World Pizzeria in Saginaw, yours for only $12.50. Or head over to the SBRC Marketplace to snag a half off deal from Durf's Deli, where you can get a $30 voucher for just $15. Go to RocketGrabPlus.com right now for these deals and more before it's too late.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now.
I'm just taking a little detour. I got to fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper.
Are you serious? We're going to be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SAFE25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SAFE25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SAFE25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code SAFE25.
Ready to get movie Saginaw? Join us for the Be Well Saginaw Strides Toward Wellness event series on Saturday, September 27th, starting and ending at the Saginaw YMCA. Whether you're a seasoned runner or just starting out on your fitness journey, we've got an event for you. Choose from the 10K, 5K, double challenge, and free 3K Turtles and Hairs event, perfect for all ages and abilities. The 3K and 5K courses wind through the scenic Saginaw Children's Zoo, so you'll enjoy a wild adventure along the way. And it's more than just a race. Stick around for food trucks, entertainment, and community resources that'll keep the good vibes going all morning long. Don't miss out on this chance to stride toward wellness with your friends and neighbors. Sign up today and take the first step toward a healthier you. To register, visit BeWellSaginaw.org. See you at the starting line.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
This weekend, Kohl's is giving away millions in Kohl's Cash in store. It's like you're getting free shopping money. At least that's what I tell my husband. Yep, you're just making smart financial decisions, one trendy sweater at a time. Plus, all month, enter our online sweepstakes at Kohl's.com for a chance to win $200 Kohl's Cash. Some exclusions apply while supplies last. Giveaway ends September 7th. Sweepstakes ends September 30th, 2025. No purchase necessary. 20 winners per day. Limit 1 prize per person for entire sweepstakes. See Kohl's.com for official rules and details.
Injured in an auto accident? Hire local and get the power of Gower. Don't become just another file for a big law firm. Call Gower Law. They know how the local courts work and how to get the results you deserve. Auto injury? Contact GowerLaw.com. That's GowerLaw.com.
Progressive knows we all crave validation.
Girl, you are not 37.
I would have guessed 27.
You guys are too sweet.
Sure. Dewy skin. Terrific.
Is something wrong, Ned?
Why would you ask? Just because today marks my 10th anniversary without a car accident or even a speeding ticket? But somehow, tonight's all about your skincare.
Wow. With Snapshot from Progressive, you can get a personalized rate based on how you drive. And that's all the validation you need. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliate. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
It's Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen on KISS 107.1.
All right, this is Kareem, and we're back with more of Straight Talk. For those of you who are looking to media stream, we certainly thank you for tuning in. We want you to like, tag, and share this conversation with those in your community. Shout out to all the powers that be, to my producer, Matthew, aka White Soul. Matt, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
All right,
today?
he gave me the I'm doing pretty good today. Normally say what up, Doe, because he is a Detroiter.
What up, Doe? I can do that.
Okay, there you go. He is from Detroit. When the first time he did, I was like, bro, where you get that? But he is aware of what's going on. He sits through these conversations. Thank you all for tuning in once again to Straight Talk on 107.1 FM on KISS WTLZ. We certainly are in the midst of a great conversation. Before the conversation, Representative O'Neill mentioned the fact that 300,000 plus Black women have lost their jobs in this current administration. But I need you all to understand something. There was no confusion on what the target was for this administration because they showed it. They told you. They telegraphed it.
They did.
They sent it in an airmail. It was on the commercials. It was on the social media lines. And the folks were saying that. One thing that I have to say is that the Democrats were continually talking about Project 2025. But the fact of the matter is that folks didn't believe it. There's no way in the world that the government would do this. Donald Trump disavowed it. And because he is a demagogue, whatever he says, his people believe. And I'll say this because the majority of the MAGA movement are probably some of the most uninformed, but statistically, are those who probably do the least amount of reading, who gets most of their information from one particular source. It's branded as a news program, Fox News, but many of us know that it can be very different. But they also are the least achieving individuals in the nation, the least educated in many respects. Not everybody, but for the most part, these are the things. So you have a group of people who are not consuming real information, who have believed in many of the misnomers and lies that America has told its people, that are voting for this individual. Now, Representative O'Neill, and I want to get this, I want to put this out there so we can get back to this conversation. You mentioned about how many people in voting for Donald Trump voted against their own interests.
Yes.
And what I want to make sure that we understand what that means. What that means is we had a number of women, because women, hey, we're voting for Kamala. She's going to be the first woman president. And when white women, and a majority of them, because I think it was something like 54% of women, white women, when they went in the ballot box, they did what their husband said do.
That's right.
And they voted against their interests for a man who is a womanizer, a misogynist, who is a convicted sexual offender, because of a number of reasons, right? There's a whole issue that we can have a conversation about where we are politically, because the Democrats have some reasoning to handle that they're dealing with the fallout of not really supporting our candidate the way that they should have in the first place. That's a whole nother conversation. But when we get through this and we look at what's going on, it was about DE&I. To me, y'all think DE&I meant that we were, these handicapped folks, or, those who are physically challenged, or whatever. When I hear DE&I, an assault on DE&I is not about Asian Americans. It is not about Hispanic Americans. It's about Black folk. And if you understand the statistics and the number, we understood that the benefactors of the DE&I push were not Black women, were not Black men, weren't Hispanic men and women, but it was white women. And so those very women voted against the dismantling of a system that put them in places where they were the leaders of companies, where they had public office presence, where they were governors and legislators and all of the things, right? Because remember, when white men were voting, white women still couldn't vote.
That's right.
So they got the vote, Black men got the vote, then Black women got the vote. So I need you all to understand, this is not just about race, but it's also about misogyny. It's about the fact that they want a conglomerate of wealthy white men to run our country. Yeah. And anytime you think rich white men, when I say, I'm not just talking about rich, I'm talking about uber rich, billionaire tech companies who have never walked a day in your neighborhood or your community, let alone your shoes. When you think that they're going to have your best interest, you are being played the fool. But this is a playbook that we've seen over and over again. Race is a social construct that was created by the wealthy to extend, quote unquote, white privilege to poor working class, poor farmers, poor folks out in the country who don't get access in agricultural areas, to make them feel you are now one of us, and they're going to take, so they otherize the other of us, those Blacks, those immigrants, and those Asians, so that they could get the coalition to be split up, because the reality of it is, farmers, you one of us. Asian America, you're one of us. Sometimes you get a pass based upon what you're bringing in terms of your technology. Hispanic, Mexican American, Latino population, y'all didn't think so, but you done messed around and found out that you are one of us, whether you like it or not. And so now we are having to deal with these conversations. Why the public sector? Because they understood that when Black women and Black men who went to school, had great resumes, could not get jobs in public sector as CEOs and all these other things, they could always get a job in our federal government, because the federal government had a responsibility to oversee the atrocities and to make sure that states like Louisiana, Missouri, Alabama, Mississippi would adhere to the laws that the Civil Rights Acts fought for. All of those policies. So there's a large 18% of the population of the federal government are African American, because they couldn't get jobs at IBM and at all these other companies, but they could, with their education, get jobs in federal government. So the attacks on federal government, we're going to slash government. What they were saying is we're going to cut down, because 47% of Black Americans are middle class and educated with college degrees. Right. The highest, most efficient group of people who are the most educated in this nation are Black women. That's right. So the target against the federal government was a target against Black middle class. It was against Black excellence and really being able to be self-sufficient in those areas. Understanding those things, Representative O'Neill, you made the conversation that we as a community have to understand the power of the Black dollar.
Exactly.
And I want you to go ahead. What must we do in this season?
Well, as I said earlier, we have a roadmap. We look at all around the country, Black Wall Street, Greenville, all those communities that were thriving, self-sufficient Black communities. Even here in Saginaw, when I grew up, I know 6th Street, we had businesses, Black businesses, Potter Street, and but now collectively we have to realize that what's in the best interest of us as a people. We have to get out the way in terms of, me, myself, and I.
Yeah.
If I like me, this is not about me. It's not about you. It's about us. How do we survive? And so you look at business, our spending power. Again, we spend more money than anybody. Why can't
Ask Target about it.
Ask Target about it. And it showed the power of our dollar. Why can't we? And I've talked to some financial people here in town about this. And I mentioned, and I love my pastors. I'm a person of faith, all that. But this is just an example. Parishioners come in churches every Sunday and worship the Lord and, bless the church. And churches can't sustain themselves without what?
Parishioners and dollars.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So that money that's coming into those churches, and the people that come to those churches, they live in our communities, in our neighborhoods that are being attacked right now. So collectively, I think for the good of the people that come to all our churches, how come we can't 3 or 4 or 5? You're a pastor.
Pastors, go ahead and say it. Don't be scared.
Why can't we
get us together real good?
Why can't we just come together and say, okay, every Monday or Tuesday we take the bag to the bank. Everybody know what the bag is.
Y'all know the tithes and offering collections, the collection plate.
We take the bag to the bank. And so it's easy. And this financial person told me, he said, Rep. O'Neill, if you get 3 or 4 or 5 of your pastor friends to come over and put your money in my bank, I would easily give you a loan, a line of credit for $20 million.
Okay, hold on a second. See, you are too far away. Hold on. They're calling me for a commercial break. This ain't the time for a break. We're going to wait 1 second. I need you to lean in, sir. All right. And I need you to look that direction. Now I need you to say what you just said one more again.
Well, I've met with some financial folks, and we talked about the power of the purse with our churches. And I said, well, if we can get 3 or 4 or 5 pastors together that put their money into whatever bank to say leverage, okay, we have a plan. We have a housing plan. They're building houses all over the state. And I got a meeting set up with the Housing Commission soon. Because I'm saying we got to come together, city and county. We got to have our plans together. That's one thing I haven't seen a lot. The ones that I've had plans from in this community, we've got money.
Say it again.
The people I work with that have had plans, they've gotten money.
If it's not in writing, it does not exist. I tell
exist.
my ninth graders that all the time.
No, it's true. So collectively, if we can come together and say, okay, we want to develop Northeast Side Saginaw. We just use that for example, off Washington. Properties overgrown, look like a forest, etc. Used to be thriving community. That's a prime location, for example, for redevelopment. We get 4 or 5 churches to say, okay, let's do this. Let's get a plan. Let's get an architect, put the plans together, go to our financial person, say, okay, we need a line of credit for $20 million or $10 million, whatever the dollar amount is, because we want to do a housing development for our people. It's that easy.
It's that easy. Now,
but what gets in the way?
Go ahead.
What really gets in the way is, well, are you going to be in charge?
Who's going to be in charge?
Or am I going to be in charge? Who's going to facilitate that? We have to trust each other. We have to trust each other enough to say, this is good for all of us, not just one of us. And so that's, I mean, right now, with what's happening at the federal and state level, this is an onslaught attack, full press court. And you know, when someone's, going through the process of attacking you or trying to hurt you, they might hit your leg, your knee or something. But this attack is going for the jugular. What does that mean?
That means that you won't be around after this one.
They're going for the jugular. It's serious. And I see it every day. And it's really sad to see that we'll disinvest in our future for our personal, ideology,
for feelings and personal gain. We got to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to finish this conversation. An hour is not long enough. Stick, stay, don't go away. We'll be right back. Absolutely.
You're listening to Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen on KISS 107.1.
Hey, Saginaw, it's Pastor Joshua M. Daniels of the Mount Olive Institutional Missionary Baptist Church inviting you to join us for worship this Sunday at 10 a.m. Listen, if you're looking for hope, inspiration, and you're ready to see your life change, meet me at the Mount Olive Church, 1114 North 6th Avenue in the city of Saginaw, Michigan. Listen, change happens here, and it can happen for you this weekend. I'll see you at Mount Olive Sunday at 10. It's up from here.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code HYBRID to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code HYBRID for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code HYBRID for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Mid-Michigan. It's the season of sweaters, spice, and cars that are nice. Ryan Wasik here from Bell-Wasik GMC Buick, your only local Buick dealer and home with a lifetime warranty. And this month, I've brewed up the perfect blend of savings and selection. And you can save up to $3,000 based on the price of the nicer, newer car you pick. So if your old ride's got you stewing and brewing, let's spice things up with a deal that's too hot to handle. Because you deserve to cruise around town in a car that you love and you saved a latte on. You could save up to $3,000. Here at Bell-Wasik GMC Buick, we're all about acceptance and affordability. My solution specialists serve up hot approvals and spicy deals. They'll help you drive a nicer, newer car you love with a monthly payment that won't shake your leaves this fall. So spice up your commute and save a latte in the process, up to $3,000 based on the nicer, newer car you pick. But hurry, this deal's only brewing until the end of the month. I'm Ryan Wasik, and I'm your dealer for the people. See all the fresh brewed rides at RyanApproved.com. That's RyanApproved.com.
Credit requires bank approval. Negative equity may be refinanced. Vehicle purchase price determines actual discount. Offer absolutely ends September 30th, 2025.
Here's a real-life story that affects 50% of all of us out there. It's called divorce. If you've gotten divorced and now you're struggling to pay your bills and your credit card debts are completely out of control, you need to call this special debt relief hotline right now. We help people with all kinds of money problems caused by different life challenges, a divorce, a job loss, even heavy medical bills. All these life events can sometimes financially stress you out and cause you to get out of control. We help people get their lives back by showing them ways to consolidate and reduce their debt, in some cases for a fraction of what they owe. If your credit card balances are more than $10,000, call us and learn how to reduce your credit card bills and monthly payments now. Here's our number.
Paid for by Debt.com. Call now at 800-810-1820. 800-810-1820. 800-810-1820. That's 800-810-1820.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
This weekend, Kohl's is giving away millions in Kohl's Cash in store. It's like you're getting free shopping money. At least that's what I tell my husband. Yep, you're just making smart financial decisions, one trendy sweater at a time. Plus, all month, enter our online sweepstakes at Kohl's.com for a chance to win $200 Kohl's Cash. Some exclusions apply while supplies last. Giveaway ends September 7th. Sweepstakes ends September 30th, 2025. No purchase necessary. 20 winners per day. Limit one prize per person for entire sweepstakes. See Kohl's.com for official rules and details.
RocketGrabPlus.com. This week's exclusive offer on RocketGrabPlus.com is brought to you by Applied Training Solutions located in the Midland Mall. We're giving you half off a one-day Michigan concealed pistol license class, originally $120, now available for just $60. This class is a requirement for a CPL in the state of Michigan. Don't miss out on this fantastic deal. Visit RocketGrabPlus.com to claim yours today. RocketGrabPlus.com.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money, because you're in charge. Today, you're going to pay down your credit card bill. But you decide when you'll pay it. Before the due date, so those interest charges don't get you. But you decide if you pay it in full. But you definitely should, because again, interest charges. With Progressive Price Tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
It's Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen on KISS 107.1.
This is Kareem, and we're back with more Straight Talk. Man, this time with Representative O'Neill, we've been saying we need to get together. This has been an amazing jewel. I want to, because time goes so quickly, I want to share. I want to just give you the platform to just talk about what you were saying. Like, there's so much that needs to be done. What do we need to do next, in your opinion?
Well, just to the total listening audience, I meet with everybody. I meet with Black, white, Hispanic, Asian. I meet with all types. So there's no racial slant in what I'm saying.
These are facts, not racial issues.
Okay, so I want people to be understanding of that fact, because I met with some farmers at the Farm Bureau at the Horizon Green. They were complaining about a lot of the impediments that they're experiencing right now.
Farmers in is it Arkansas or
no? Farmers here in Saginaw County.
No, I know that they are, but there was a big issue about the farmers. I think it's in Arkansas.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
They voted for Trump.
They're going out of business,
and these tariffs are putting them out of business.
Yeah.
There's no migrant labor.
Yeah,
so they're going out of business. Yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah, and so from farmers to manufacturers, like we were at Next Year last week, and they said, Rep. O'Neill, these tariffs are really hurting us. However, we're going to try to pivot and see if we can make some rebound on some of these things. And so it costs so much money to do business on a global scale. And so that's where we started talking about getting that pipeline of skilled electricians and individuals that can matriculate through this program. But, I see a lens that I want to share with my listening audience and folks that, if we're going to survive in our communities in this next cycle, if we're going to survive, we're going to have to come together. I mean, because in an island, you're isolated, you're in a silo, and you'll be wiped away. Just like when those floods come in and that tree's weak, it blows you right away. You're going down the river. So that tree trunk can be strengthened if we're all together. What does the Bible says? A cord of 3 strands.
It's not easily broken.
That's
right.
So we got to unify and say, okay, this is good for the people. All the parishioners that come to all of our churches, these folks are in the neighborhoods. These folks are being hit with the SNAP, Medicaid, losing their jobs and lost their jobs. These are the folks we're working for.
Absolutely.
And so as leaders, pastors and we have the capacity to influence.
Absolutely.
Dr. King, his 1964 civil rights legislation was transformational. I was in Detroit last night talking to some folks about this, these folks returning prisoners. I said, the gains we made from 1964 to now are under attack right now.
Absolutely.
We only had 8 months into this administration, and the things that they are dismantling at a rapid pace is scary. And it's serious. As I said, they're going for the jugular. They're trying to take you out. Literally take you out.
When a jaguar is chasing its prey, it goes for the jugular because it knows that it doesn't stand a chance. This is it.
It squeezes all the oxygen out of you. You can't breathe, and that's it.
So, Rep O'Neill, I'm going to ask this question, and I'm going to throw this out at you. If we were to do let's say a straight talk live series where we brought in these pastors, we brought in these business owners, these community leaders, and we had a real conversation about what it takes. This is not about complaining. This is not a complaint session. This is a strategy session. And we talked about ideas like you were talking about, pooling those funds. Hey, once a month, take the bag to the bank. That's simple. Then we can buy, and they're willing to extend credit, because oftentimes in our community, we are cash rich and credit poor. So we use our own resources instead of using the banks or other resources. If we were able to do that and pull that together, what would it take for you to be a part of leading that conversation?
I will set up the meeting. I've already had the conversation.
So,
I already had the conversation, Pastor. And I said, okay, so my assignment was to get some willing pastors. And I've shared it with a couple, and, it hasn't gone anywhere. But if I had some willing pastors willing to do that, and and there, you guys are doing some great individually,
but collectively
we have to do, individually doing some great stuff. I remember when Pastor Bradley was here, and
loved Pastor Bradley
and Dr. Tatum, he continued the work.
Absolutely.
Great. I was a city council then. That's how long ago that was. And so I was with him all step of the way. He was working, he had a plan. And now you see the results of that plan.
Absolutely.
Am I right?
Absolutely.
Pastor Pryor.
Yes.
He's another pastor who works well.
Yes.
And he's got plans.
Yes.
Pastor on Lewis Temple.
Yes.
He's another pastor.
He's doing a lot of work.
He's doing a lot of great work. He has plans
individually.
And he's gotten money.
Yeah.
And so my point being, individually, you're doing some great stuff, but collectively, the people need us collective. The people need us. This is about the people now. The survival of our community
is about the what?
It's about the people. And, I pray nobody takes what I'm saying as an attack, but I'm just giving you just a short glimpse of what I see from my years of experience. I'm born and raised here in town on 7th and Johnson, right by Houghton School. That's where I was raised. I started out at the ground floor. I started out as a janitor. I worked that janitor job like I was a king of the hill. I scrubbed them floors. I cleaned them toilets. I took pride in everything I did. And I worked my way up from the ground floor. And I served. So I don't have any bone or attitude about any of this. I'm telling you from my heart,
But you do have skin in the game, and that is your sweat equity. Our time here is coming to an end, Representative. We're going to make the commitment to come back and have this conversation because I think it is so very important and appropriate for us to have. But I'm going to say to those pastors, we have a number of pastors who want to be the leaders of our community. Do we have the ability to lead not only our parishioners, but our work and our effort together to become a community of faith, I'm talking about Bishop Coleman. I'm talking about Bishop Pryor. Pastor Tatum, you preached your face off at our dear friend Dwayne Ferris's funeral.
Yeah, God bless.
Amazing job.
Yes.
Bishop Campbell, we have so many smart, intelligent pastors.
We have the capacity to do it.
We have the capacity,
we do.
But do we have the heart? And I'm going to leave us right there. We're going to come back. We're going to see this man again on here. This is a platform for you to come and to share, speak truth to power. To everyone that's out there, we certainly thank you for your time and attention. Like, tag, and share this conversation to the community. I love you. And as always, take care of yourself and each other. Grace and peace. Thank you.
You've been listening to Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen on KISS 107.1. The views and opinions expressed on Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen by the host, its guest, or call-ins do not necessarily represent the opinion of this station, the staff, its owners, Alpha Media USA, or its advertisers.